Many Christmases ago, I went to buy a doll for my son. I reached for the last one they had, but so did another man. As I rained blows upon him, I realized there had to be another way. A Festivus for the rest of us. You gather your family around and tell them all the ways they have disappointed you over the past year. A Festivus for the rest of us.
And is there a tree?
No, instead there's a pole.
Hey, everybody. This is 5-Hole Fantasy Hockey. We got a fun one coming up here, Raj. I'm your host, Zac Vogel. With me today, Mike Rogerson. What up, Raj?
Hey, I'm drinking Empress Gin.
Empress Gin. Sounds so fancy of you. But yeah, so we are 5-Hole Fantasy Hockey. You can find us on Twitter at FHF Hockey. Get in on our Discord. We got channels for a little bit of everything. We've had this big old bet between Raj and I on who is king of Christmas. Raj, love you, buddy, but I'm rooting for me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm rooting for me. I'm picking me. I will step over top of you to reach the pinnacle if I have to, the precipice, if you will.
I fight dirty. I fight like Asatikin and dirty.
Yeah, Raj is here like with a fistful of stones, just waiting until he gets up there, fucking throws them at me. But that's the whole thing. Supposedly, I'm gonna hit you with a steel chair. So I mean, you got that one coming.
Oh man, I didn't see that when it happened. I caught it just like yesterday. That huge long story that somebody wrote.
It was something else.
Whoever did that, I forget off the top of my head, and I'm drinking a lot right now, so I'm not gonna look. But someone wrote a great long story on our Discord about the story of 5-Hole or something. It did.
That's what I said. We're gonna make a 5-Hole movie, dude.
Yeah,
we're gonna make a 5-Hole movie.
Yes.
What we're doing here today, we got a Christmassy episode. In general, we're having a Festivus. For those of you who don't know what Festivus is, I mean, I can only imagine most of y'all do. Frank Costanza comes up with the idea of Festivus in Seinfeld, and it's one of the best episodes of Seinfeld.
Yes,
I love Festivus. Got to get some news and injuries out of the way.
Moo.
Yeah, I know. Bad vibes, Raj. Brady Shea out for personal reasons. We just brought him up the other day, and a couple of guys that we've been talking about lately are on this list, unfortunately. But he's out for personal reasons. Marcus Foligno left the game today, did not return, lower body injury, and that sucks. Like, I like Marcus Foligno a lot. I've been saying his name a lot. And now I'm talking about him in the bad vibes part. I don't like that. The biggest one, I'm surprised. I don't know why I would have put this right in the middle, but this is the biggest one. Rasmus Sandin, he's on IR. He isn't going to be reevaluated until after Christmas. Now, remember, like, for IR, so technically, like, he's got to be out for another week. So he could be closer to that, low-end spectrum of IR because Morgan Riley ain't coming back anytime soon. He did just skate 2 days ago, but they also said there is no close return for Morgan Riley. So with Rasmus Sandin out, where do you think you're looking? You going Mark Giordano on this one?
Father Christmas, yeah, like he's probably the best option. Old balls, Giordano. Like everybody else is even more defensive than Giordano. Now, it's weird how Toronto has gone into this team with like great goalies and solid D. Like, I don't want any of them, but Giordano you could probably get. He's pretty available, and like he's going to get you blocks for sure. He's going to get a few hits, and he might. I don't think he's going to get on the power play. They're probably going to go with 5 forwards.
Well, that's what they did. They went with 5 forwards already. So you have Michael Bunting on that top power play now.
Yeah, and without the Sandin option, this is kind of more reason for them to stick with 5 forwards. So none of that, but it does mean more playing time for Giordano. So, if you're hanging around on Toronto, getting playing time, you're probably going to get some assists. And he already gives you blocks and hits, so,
Michael Bunting's been doing the damn thing, man. He's been doing the damn thing. He's only 62% owned. I mean, I know that's a little high, but that's definitely one of those, just go check kind of things. Because at the same time, I was looking at this. Michael Bunting, he has 13 points in his last 12 games. What is it? 4 goals in his last 5 games. The rest were assists all before that. None of these are from the power play, and he's now going to be on that top power play. You'd think he's got to get some trickle down from that. He's been shooting a decent amount. Every now and then he'll throw a 1 shot on goal game out there for you. But, for the most part, he's shooting. I feel like this is a time where you got to kind of go, if he's not owned, I feel like you got to go get Michael Bunting.
Yeah, well, for sure. And, he's
40% of leagues, you can do that.
Just go check for sure. I just found a conundrum that I'm in here, buddy.
It's a 25-cent word.
You and I are also, in addition to this King of Christmas FHF Xmas fight that we've been in, we're also head-to-head in our listener leagues this week. We're super close right now. I've got Martin Jones against the Canucks right now, so I have to root for the Canucks to lose so that I can get points against you. We'll see what happens. It's tight. Sorry to derail the injuries, but...
Well, they are losing right now. I mean, they got a period left, but it's 4-2. Let's see, who scored in that game? Who fun scored in that game? Got 4 goals. You got Ollie Bjorkstrand with a goal, Jared McCann, Daniel Sprung, and Alexander Wenberg.
I know Beignet got some points.
Because that's what he does. He did. He got an assist. But he has 0 shots on goal. So that's disconcerting. But what are you going to do?
I just want him on the sheet. I just want him. I'll be able to say his name.
I can't agree with you more about that. Okay, moving on. Just a couple of quick ones here. Dennis Gurianov, he's also out for personal reasons. Elvis Merzlikins has an illness. So, Korpisalo is definitely your guy right there. Jordan Kyrou did not play on Tuesday. They don't play again until Friday night. Hoping he'll be back. You know what I mean? He's a big part of that line that I said I like so much. You know what I mean? With Jordan Kyrou not out there, Ivan Barbashev isn't as appealing and stuff like, you know what I mean? Those kind of guys who are widely available, not as appealing. So I hope Kyrou will be back soon, but he's only day-to-day, so I'm thinking he'll be back. Igor Chinakhov is out 6 weeks with a high ankle sprain. He's another one of those guys that, a lot of times we'll bring up as an option when we're talking Columbus, but we won't be for the next 6 weeks. So that sucks. Get better soon, buddy. And then last up, you and I actually have a little bit different opinion on this one. And not that I totally disagree with you, but it just, I think, was a bonehead play and he deserves what he got. Tomas Hertl suspended 2 games for high-sticking Elias Lindholm. I think he deserved it. It was right after a face-off. Obviously, there was some stuff going on, but he got cross-checked, and he went up high. The ref is right there. You're an idiot for doing that. You deserve the 2 games, Tomas Hertl.
Yeah, it wasn't smart. It wasn't a thoughtful play or anything like that. It just didn't look like it was like a vicious, two-hander to the face. It looked like he got chopped a couple of times by a strong guy and he turned around and I don't think he meant to hit him in the face. And he barely hit him in the face and nothing happened from it. It's I don't know. 2 games was a bit rich.
I know what a human body looks like, and the percentage that is the face and head is a lot smaller. He had 90% of a body to hit and just couldn't hit the part that he did. But he did. So you get 2 games for that, brother.
No, you don't get 2 games for that.
For being a dick, sure you do.
No, you don't. When you got Austin Matthews 2-hand cross-checking guys in the side of the head, Malkin, same thing, getting 2 games. That is not even close to the same league as what happened there.
I think that the NHL has clearly shown with all of these 2-game suspensions that they're just kind of throwing this blanket all over everything. You know what I mean? It's all this big two game suspension blanket. And at some point in time, they're going to have to, say, oh, something is so egregious, we can't give the 2 games this time. Because I feel like there's things where people deserved more than 2 games or just straight up didn't deserve anything at all. So, and they still got 2 games. So I don't know. I think the NHL is kind of being a little fucky with these 2 game suspension things.
Inconsistent, and it's hogwash.
That's it for the bad vibes. You know what I mean? I'm glad to get those out of the way. It's Festivus time. It's Festivus time, Raj. It'll be Christmas time after Festivus. That's when we will go to battle, you and I. First off, for Festivus, Feats of Strength.
Not the Feats of Strength.
You got to do Feats of Strength. Since you and I cannot arm wrestle, let's kind of go back and forth on guys that have had Feats of Strength so far this season. Just guys that have impressed you, like guys that might be helping you win in on your teams and stuff like that. Raj, who do you have up number 1?
Well, since you said you want to go back and forth on guys,
it's just a usual day that ends in Y, my man.
Erik Karlsson. I know it's a bit grody, but it is what it is. How are you gonna not talk about what Erik Karlsson's done? He's 42 points in 34 games on the season. Don't get me wrong, it is not sustainable. He's got like 12.1 shooting percentage as a defenseman, which is just unheard of. That's ridiculous. He's playing the most ice time he's played in years. He's playing the most ice time he's played in 6 years.
Yeah, but I mean, he at least has had some like decent shooting percentage years, not where he was like up over, double digits or anything like that. But
no, he has not been anywhere near 12. And it's weird because he hasn't played anywhere near 25 minutes in 6 years. So it's just a resurgence here. He's probably found some good.
Well, I do know that he is shooting like over 3 times a game on goal. Like, I do know that is a thing.
That's true, and that's far higher shots per game than he's had in basically, 7 years. And that has a lot to do with Brent Burns leaving, because Brent Burns, obviously takes a lot of shots, and when he was there, even though they both played a lot, obviously you're going to lose some shots to Brent Burns, and now that he's kind of there by himself, he's just shooting up like crazy. So I like Karlsson as a feat of strength. I wouldn't even say I like him. It's unbelievable the comeback he's made. And I like I said, I don't feel like it's sustainable after Christmas. Earlier on in the season, I said he would disappear after Christmas, and I fully believe that. But to this point, Erik Karlsson. Yep.
He's still going.
Yep.
He's still going. No, I definitely agree. Especially, where you drafted Erik Karlsson is nowhere near his production right now. So, like, if you drafted Erik Karlsson, you got him in like the teens, most likely. So you're looking smart for that right now. Another guy that you drafted and you drafted late, or I guarantee you went undrafted in some leagues. I'm going Josh Morrissey.
He didn't go undrafted in any of our leagues, I can tell you that, and I can tell you who drafted him. Rhymes with TJ.
All I'm saying is, man, he is playing out of this world this year. I'm not going to lie. I didn't see it coming. He already has more points. He has 38 points so far in 32 games this year. Last year, he had 37 points in 79 games. And the whole thing is,
No.
He's literally never done anything like this. It's not that It's not that, like, that's why I can say, honest to God, no, I did not see this coming, because he's literally never even been remotely close to what he's doing.
No, so do you put it?
Like, nowhere close. You also want to talk about 12% shooting percentages. Josh Morrissey is another one of those defensemen that has a 12% shooting percentage, a 12.2 to be exact, which is exactly double his career shooting percentage. Ain't that some shit?
That's what I was going to say. Do you think Morrissey is another Carlson where it's just like an amazing start? And I don't want to say it's not. It has been an amazing start, but I just don't see. I mean, Carlson at least has the pedigree of a Norris caliber defenseman. Morrissey is just a nobody. Like,
you mean Josh? You mean Josh Norris'ey?
He's been, well, yeah, Josh Norris'ey. It's hard to dispute. He's having a huge season. I posted in our group chat earlier all the players he's tied with, and he's like tied with like Kyle Connor, and like Austin Matthews, and a whole bunch of people like that, all like in points. So
Mitch Marner, yeah. My response was, which one of these is not like the others? All I'm saying is I'm just surprised. But he really has, like, straight up been playing fantastic. He does not shoot, though. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, all right, so we're just going to go back his last 10 games. Let's see. 11 shots. 11 shots on goal in his last 10 games. 9 shots. I'm sorry. I added in an extra game in there to where he actually had 2 shots on goal, which is, like, the highest that he does. So, I don't know.
He's not a shooter. I don't think he's, like I said, he's the same numbers as Carlson.
Okay, so what happens when Winnipeg starts shitting the bed like they do every year?
I think this is an amazing start, and he deserves to be on this list, but he will not be on.
He definitely does.
He won't be in the top 10 defensemen at the end of the season.
There's just so many things that don't make sense, is all I'm saying. There's just so many things that don't make sense. Like, hell, his PDO is 107.
Sell high. Sell high.
That's crazy. Oh yeah, if you can sell a Josh Morrissey for, man, I'd almost like to say Victor Hedman or something like that. That would be interesting. I would probably want to do that. That's just.
I would take Hedman.
Okay, anyways. Who you got next? I do. I'm not saying Josh Morrissey ain't a good pick, but man, I did not see that shit coming.
No. Well, Logan Hunter S. Thompson.
We were somewhere around Barstow, on the edge of the desert, when the drugs began to take hold.
Man, hasn't played a ton in his life, really, in the NHL, but he's very good, and Vegas is very good. He's not like exceptionally amazing, but his numbers are great where it matters. Like in most leagues, wins matter the most for goalies, and he's got 15 wins and 23 starts, so he's doing very well there. He's got a GA of like 261, which isn't incredible. It's fine. And a 917 save percentage, which is respectable. A couple of shutouts. But for a guy who's, this is his second year, and his first year was only 19 games. So he's a new guy, and he's basically the number one goalie on the best team in the West. So I think that's pretty great.
I'm not gonna lie. I was surprised. Like, I was surprised about this one too. I didn't think that he was going to be playing as well as he is. And like you said, it's not like he's blowing the doors off or anything like that. A 917, a 261, like there are fantastic goalies that people are drafting way ahead of Logan Thompson that have over a 3.
He's, even though he had a short season last year where he came in and Vegas was really struggling, and he was the one bright spot. And his numbers are...
He had similar numbers last year than he does now.
Just a little bit better this year. And that's what I mean. It's like, he's just good. He's just a good, solid goalie. It's not like freakishly hot. He's very reasonably can be expected to just do this till the end of the year. So yeah, I really like him. And it's too bad he's not considered a rookie. Because he's... fantastic. He's way up there in saves. He's way up there and
I'll tell you what, he's a McDonald's guy, because no roast beef sandwiches in 23 games so far this year.
I mean, sorry, third in wins. And like I said, in points leagues especially, wins are what get you the points. So big fan of his. I drafted him in a few leagues as my third goalie just because I didn't know what to do in like round 15, 16, 17. And it sure has paid off. So I really dig that.
And isn't that what we always preach? You might want to take a Vasilevsky or something like that, but you're going to have to pay for it. Every year, this kind of stuff happens. Every single year. Now, I'm not saying you just want to be drafting these bottom of the barrel guys, but like, you can always find goalies, and there's always somebody new that you never saw coming that is going to get, going to be at the top of the list sometimes. So like these diamonds in the rough are really, they're fantastic to hit on, especially with the goalies. I love it.
Well, that's my number 2. So I'm going to send you off to your number 2, and I'm going to go mix another drink because this Empress is going down too smooth. So who's your number 2 feat of strength for the first half so far?
You want a Thompson? I'm going another one. I mean, I feel like you have to. Tage Thompson. Tage Thompson has 50 points already in 32 games played. 26 goals, 24 assists. Man. Like, he is playing lights out. Don't get me wrong, the 17.8% shooting percentage definitely makes you wary, but what he's doing is just taking a total shit ton of shots. A ton of shots. When I say a ton of shots, I mean over 4 a game. Close to 5. Like, that is a ridiculous amount. All in under 19 minutes time on ice. Could you only imagine what he would do with 20, 21 minutes? My only knock on him ever could be is that he's a BFG, but he does not hit, he does not block. And in all honesty, if he's going to be scoring, at 100 and something crazy odd points, then man, I don't care if you hit and block, I guess, to be honest. In fact, maybe I don't want you. Maybe you're right, Tage Thompson. All this time I didn't know it, but I didn't want you hitting and blocking. I don't care if you're a big guy. If you're going to score this many points, you deserve to not have to hit and block.
Humongous and scary. And I don't know if that's why he's able to get off those shots, but I've said it like 15 times in the last couple of weeks while he's been... The first time I saw him play, I saw him in person. It was the old Zac eye test. I had really good seats against Buffalo and Vancouver. And I had like row 4 seats, and Tage Thompson skated right in front of my face. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, that guy is pretty impressive. And he wasn't quite good yet. And then all of a sudden, by the end of the last year, he had 40 goals or something like that. He's getting better so fast. And it seems like he's got Darlene excited to be able to play with a guy like that. And he's got Skinner excited. And all of a sudden...
He had just under 40 goals. He had 38. I mean, it looks like he's obviously going to blast that out of the water. He's on a 128-point pace right now.
I love it. I like him as a player, and it's nice to see him doing it. As a Vancouver guy, I can always... feel for Buffalo. We came into the league together and we've sucked together for so long. I always have a kinship with Buffalo.
What do you think an honest over-under is going to be for him this season? Because I got to say, if he's out there playing the games, I'm not saying he's going to be scoring 4 goals a game constantly, but he shoots a ton. They put him in literally every possible position to to succeed unless, there's vast amounts of, injuries and stuff that happen to Buffalo, and one of them is to him. Man, I don't know that I see him slowing down all that much. He takes so many shots, and he just does so much.
Well, I mean, I couldn't close this out without some Canucks, and it's my two favorites, actually, which is great, and it's two centers, and it's Pettersson and Horvat, so I have to sneak him into the last position together. But Pettersson, after just such a dismal first half last year, he did come on, obviously, in the second half, but this year, he's got 34 points in 29 games. And what people don't realize is he's really good defensively, too. Like, he's actually over a block a game, about a hit per game, 3 shots a game. So he's actually in categories leagues. He's a great player to have. And now he's center left wing eligible, too. So, I mean, it's not like you're going to pick him up off the wire at this point, but I got Pettersson in the 5th round in several leagues, and I am laughing all the way to the bank. We have to step over Demko on our way to the bank, but we'll talk about that in the next section.
Sorry about that one. But
no, Pettersson is kicking ass. And Horvat, same thing. Like, Horvat has just been a goal-scoring machine this year. He hasn't been number one, but he's been close to number one all season. He's been top 3 in goals for point per game. Dude, if you look at the percentage of face-offs he takes on the Canucks, he's number one face-off guy in the league. But just as an example, he has 425 face-off wins. Next is Pettersson with 145. That's like not even close. Miller has 64.
That's always been his shtick, though. What hasn't been his shtick is all these freaking goals.
No, he's been a reasonable goal scorer. Like, he's been a second line 25 to 30 goal scorer, but he's already got 22 goals. So he's already had a good season for a second line center. So yeah, this is a bit unheard of. But like I was saying the other day, since Boudreau took over, his goal scoring has gone way up because Boudreau has kind of noticed him as an offensive player. And people forget, like, back in the day when they were in juniors on Team Canada, he played with McDavid. It was Horvat and McDavid together. And he is a really good offensive player, but because he's so good at face-offs, he's a good two-way player, you kind of... the old coaches and people in general kind of see him as this like two-way guy that doesn't, usually when you say two-way guy, it means you're not that offensive. But he is actually good, and Boudreau's put him in those positions.
And he's shooting over 3 times a game too. That's pretty cool too.
Way more power play time, and like his line mates now, his line mate most of the time is JT Miller, so he's getting passes and setups from JT Miller as opposed to like Tyler Pearson, right? So he's got a humongous upgrade in line mates compared to other years. So I don't think he's going to score 60 goals like he's on pace to, but he's on pace for about 50, 60 goals. So that's probably not going to happen, but 40 goals is absolutely in the picture because it's not as outrageous as it seems like. A little outrageous, but not totally.
I might be taking the under on that one. That I think that those goals might slow down.
Well, I think they will, and if they slow down a lot, he'll still get 40 goals, and that's the thing. So we'll see.
I like Bo Horvat though, so I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm not rooting for him. He's always a player that, I mean, how can you not like him? He just goes out there and he's grinding it out and winning faceoffs all the time. Yeah. My next guy, I'm going with Jason Robertson.
Yeah.
He's a guy that we did, he was drafted high. He was drafted high and you were hoping he was going to perform. And it was either he was going to perform the way you wanted him to, or he would have been a huge disappointment. He is not a disappointment.
No, he's not.
He is, we talked about Tage Thompson, 50 points, 48 points for Jason Robertson. 24 goals, 24 assists, split straight down the middle. Tons of power play points. I like it. How can you not? I mean, the shooting percentage just looks like what he's going to be. The stars look like they're going to be fantastic. Obviously, as you know, I already love Jake Ottinger. I love the direction that they are moving. All they got to do is get rid of some of those old guys and move on with their lives. With Jason Robertson as your, he is he's your franchise player. 100%.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's top 5 in most leagues.
I know this isn't on the dock, but I have a question for you. Up till Christmas, up till now, who's your MVP? Who, you know what I mean?
I don't know. It's boring. It's McDavid. He's 10 points ahead of anybody else. He's just.
See, I don't know if that's MVP.
I
feel like what an MVP is different. Like for me, honestly, it's Tage Thompson. And the reason I would have him as the MVP, because Tage Thompson not on that team, I guarantee you, completely different. Completely different.
I know, but same as Edmonton. I don't know. I just think that you can't ignore the fact that in 30 games, McDavid has 15 more points. That's like a 50-point pace better. So that's better. It's much better.
I'm just looking at it, I guess, from the team aspect. All I'm saying is the Oilers would still score a ton of goals. You know what I mean? The Oilers would still score a ton of goals. They have another player on that team that's a top 4 player in the entire league, pretty much.
He's a top 2 player in the league, but I think without McDavid, only Draisaitl would score on that team. Tage Thompson is the most exciting player in the league this year, 100%.
And Buffalo would be nothing without him.
No, for sure. It's just, it's so boring, but McDavid is just so fucking good. There's no question he's the best player in the world. And
I feel like Jack Eichel hates Tage Thompson because he's doing what Jack Eichel never could.
No kidding. But it's just McDavid has 3 more goals and 12 more assists and more hits and more blocks. So you just can't tell me that McDavid isn't the most valuable player. I know what you're saying. It kind of gets drowned out because he does have Draisaitl, who's probably the second best player in the whole league, on his team, and Tage Thompson has Jeff Skinner. But I would say that if we can just throw in a new award quickly, it's probably the most exciting player in the league, and that goes to Tage Thompson.
Well, some people like Super Nintendo better than Nintendo. You know what I mean? Okay. Feats of Strength. They're over with. Next up, it is the airing of grievances.
I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
These are players that you got a problem with, and you want to tell them about it. Again, you to go first, just because I love this first one. I love it.
How long is this episode? Because I could probably go 4 hours.
Yeah, please don't take too long on this one single player.
Okay, well, it's no secret.
Roger's upset.
No secret. It's Thatcher Demcold, if you will. I don't know. I think I legitimately thought he was one of the best goalies in the league. He is, I think, one of the best goalies in the league. This year, he has not been. This year, he has been a 3.93 goals against average, 883 save percentage. He is the 567th best ranked player in fantasy right now. I love the guy. He's had the volume potential. But fuck, man. I mean, his numbers are worse than Spencer Martin, whose numbers are horrible. So I don't know what to say. It's been a humongous disappointment. Hopefully, there was a mercy injury. The hockey gods just came down and just smote him down, and we're just enough.
I smote thee.
Enough. They were just like, enough of this. Nobody wants to see this. Just go off, hibernate, come back in the new year, and I hope to fuck he's back to being something. But my God, it's been brutal. Like,
For a good bit of his career, though, he's been like, real up and down. He's either real good or real bad. Like, dude is ripping beef and cheddars, man. He got 5 roast beef sandwiches in 15 games. A third of his games are roast beef sandwiches, dude. He got coupons. He's pulling out the friggin' Sunday Clipper.
I know, man. It's been really bad. And historically, he's had like month-long sections where he's been brutal, but then he's like literally been MVP caliber. And it always evens out to him being a top 10, even top 5 goalie because of the
Is
volume.
that going to happen this year, though? No way.
Yes.
There's no way.
It's going to be a million times better when he comes back. It's not going to be an 880 save percentage. He's never been anything like that, right? He's been...
Yeah, I know, but for him to even this out, he would have to have an immaculate save percentage going forward just to even it out. He's done irreparable damage to this entire year for his stats.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter what he's done. He's already fucked you. I should say me. He's already fucked me in every league I'm in because that's what usually happens.
I would love to know where he was drafted at this year.
He was drafted in the 5th round. I drafted him in every league and it was in the 5th round. This is my worst year in fantasy hockey in a decade. For sure, and is largely because of Jonathan Huberdeau and Thatcher Demko. And Huberdeau didn't even make my list.
Well, he's on. We're going to talk about him in just 1 second as soon as you're done, Rand.
At any rate, Demko fucking sucks. Please be better in the new year.
Hey, man. She happens. Gonna have up years, gonna have down years. Obviously, Thatcher Demko is no different. Next up, I got Jonathan Huberdeau here. The whole thing is, lately he's been on a tear though. He has he had a goal. He has a goal today. His goal tonight, which puts him at a goal and 4 assists in his last 3 games combined, and that game isn't even done yet. But in general, Jonathan Huberdeau, we all thought and I was driving the fucking bus, saying, yeah, he gonna be fine. I'm not too worried about him going to Calgary. They're gonna be just fine. You got Elias Lindholm there. Loving me some Tyler Toffoli and the whole idea of that. But man, has this been a disappointment. Huge disappointment.
Yeah, like I was just saying, it was one of my biggest flops for me this year too. And I don't know. I think he's just too good. He's too good to be shitty for an entire season, and he's on Calgary, and Calgary's too good. And yes, it absolutely hasn't worked out yet. And when you look at season long, it's not evening out yet, but he's too good. There's a lot of grievance to be had. But
I guess evening out is 80, 85 points. Is that where you think he's going to end up? So last year, he scored 115 points. Now, that was amazing. He scored 115 points. This year, he is currently on pace for 60 points. But like I said, he has been playing very well lately. In his past couple of games, he's been definitely getting on the score sheet.
If I were to tell you at the start of the year, who would you rather have, Erik Karlsson or Jonathan Huberdeau? Who would you have picked?
You know that answer. you know that answer already.
And the answer,
and I would have vehemently fought for Huberdeau too.
I know, it's ridiculous. That it hurts. It hurts, and it sucks because I think we all love Huberdeau. He's just he's a great player. He's a great hockey player. But at any rate,
ain't happening right now. All right, who you got up next?
Well, my next up is probably the one that I'm most mad about that nobody else cares about, really. But we're airing grievances. My biggest grievances of the year with some fantasy implications, is Jim Rutherford. The Canucks have needed defense for I don't know how many years, and every single person who doesn't even watch hockey knows that the Canucks need defense. And he's gone out and got several more awesome forwards. And like you could look at him and go, wow, you got Kuzmenko, you got Mikheyev, like fantastic. But you know what you've done is now, guess what? Podkolzin's in the minors. Hoglander plays 12 minutes a night. Connor Garland barely gets to play 14 minutes. So great job. He got good players that we didn't need. Look how the team's doing. Not very good. But what it's done is it has made some good fantasy options, like Kuzmenko's fucking killer, 26 points. Mikheyev, not great. Only like 2 points better than Garland. So not even that great in 3 extra minutes time on ice. So I don't know. I'm pissed with Jim Rutherford because he's made a couple of moves like Kuzmenko, like Mikheyev. I don't even mind Lazar. Like the whole point of Lazar was to be a defensive center, so Horvat didn't have to play so many defensive minutes. But you know, you're drowning out Garland, you're drowning out Podkolzin, and you're drowning out Hoglander in the process. When without getting Kuzmenko and without getting Mikheyev, they could have got a good defenseman. And that would have made for a lot more wins this year. So I'm fucking pissed at Rutherford. And I'm pissed with him kind of covering his tracks by a couple of good forward pickups. Even though they are decent for fantasy. But I'm so mad about that. I'm so mad.
Okay, next up, I got Moritz Seider. Moritz Seider. I feel like everyone's upset about Moritz Seider. And what's there not to be upset about? Like, after his year last year, which was legit awesome, and the whole thing is they're not bad. They're still not bad. They're not horrible. You would have thought that he was going to be a part of it. He was going to continue that growth. Dude, Moritz Seider has hit the fan. He has done almost nothing all year. He has 1 assist in his last 10 or 11 games, something like that. In that, you're looking at 1 shot on goal per game in that same span. Dude has been playing awful and just is not getting those points. This is crazy. And it's clearly the assists. He's still scoring his own goals at the same rate. The assists are gone. The power play is gone. What in the world? Like, I don't. And the whole thing is, I want to keep saying, yeah, sit tight. We know that he is this caliber of player. You don't score 50 points as a rookie for nothing. You just don't.
No, and it doesn't help. I mean, Hronik doesn't help. Is a big part of the problem. Is
Hronik hasn't been doing all that great as of late either, to be honest with you.
Well, not as of late, but he's been doing stuff this year, whereas Seider hasn't done anything this year, right? So I don't know. At least maybe the door's open for Seider to get another chance at a bunch of those power play minutes and a bunch of the good opportunities. I sure hope so, because I really liked him. I loved his play. It was really nice to see a rookie come in and kind of make it as being a physical guy.
Who do you have for your last grievance?
Well, my last grievance mainly comes because I said he was the best defenseman in all of hockey, and he just came in
all of the world.
Yeah, Victor Hedman. He is trying his best to prove me wrong at those claims. His 1.6 shooting percentage is a good start. He's literally trying to just not score 18 points in 30 games. A decent point pace, actually, for a normal defenseman, a rookie defenseman.
He has 8 points in his last 8 games, though.
That's true.
They're all assists. He ain't scoring shit for goals. But I mean, he is point per game in his last 8 games. That's true.
No, it's promising, and he's been playing minutes. But it's another one where Sergachev has been actually incredible this year. While Hedman's been very, very slacking. Like I said, not terrible for a normal human being defenseman, but he's not a normal human being defenseman. Like he's very potentially the best defenseman in the league. Like I think he is. You can argue otherwise, but he's definitely like in the conversation, and that doesn't include like a 50-point per game pace. He's not a huge hitter ever. He's over like about a hit and a half a game. Almost 2 blocks a game. That's fine, but like his shooting percentage is garbage. He's not getting the power.
It's coming down to the goals, man. It really is. It's coming down to the goals. He's still getting the assists, but he has 1 goal. 1 goal this year.
Yeah, he had 20 last year, and he's always had a good chunk of goals. So
he's had double-digit goals in 8 of his 12 seasons
since he's been a real NHLer. He's been scoring a lot, and he's been in the contention for the Norris every single year for forever. And this year, he is definitely not. He's got a long way to go before he even gets remembered as a decent defenseman this year. He's not even the best defenseman on the team right now. So come on, Hedman. I don't want to say that to his face because my God, is he ever a big, humongous man? But come on, Hedman, get your shit together.
Next guy I want to bring up is Alexander Barkov. And this is another player. I love Alexander Barkov. Always have. Like, I'm a big fan. His shooting percentage is in the dumps again. Like we had just talked about with Hedman. Dude is, his shooting percentage is half of what his career average is. He's shooting under 10% for the first time in, his entire career, except for his rookie season. Alexander Barkov is playing as bad as he ever has since his rookie year. And that has, it has nothing to do with the whole Huberdeau thing too, because remember other than the power play, they really were never, out there too much together. He was still alongside Verhaeghe just like he was last year, and it was just clicking last year. The only difference is, you're looking at Matt Tkachuk. Is Matt Tkachuk kind of like the kryptonite for Barkov?
I don't know, man. He's been actually doing better than I thought he would. Tkachuk has been picking up some points. But...
yeah, Tkachuk's been doing, I think Tkachuk actually came out of this the best looking out of all these players that kind of went back and forth between those teams.
Yeah, it's absolutely the opposite of what I thought. Which
Agreed.
is basically 100% on par for the entire season. So, well, where I feel a lot more confident is in my Christmas picks. I can tell you that.
Barkey is still taking a ton of shots. What you're okay? We're done with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you, Raj, but you're about to hear about them. Okay, so this is gonna be it. We've been doing this for a while now. We're picking these Christmas rankings, and we've been keeping track of it. We've been taking it seriously. Yeah, been taking it seriously. We are tied, Raj. We are tied. We are going into Game 7. This is overtime. Pull out your goalie. We're doing a shootout. Doing a shootout here, bro. Before things get too off track here, we want you to vote for this. You can either vote in the Discord in the Xmas channel, or you can get at us on Twitter using hashtag FHFH at FHF Hockey. That's where you're going to find us to post who you think is going to win, or who you have winning. Because this is what it comes down to. This is going to be the king of Christmas, is all the marbles, Raj. We're going movies. This is the big one. We're pulling out the big guns on this last episode before Christmas. Pulling out the big guns. We're going top 5. We've done top 3 every other episode. We're going top 5 on this one. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Christmas movies, bro. Who you got at number 5?
My number 5, Ernest Saves Christmas.
Ho, 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 Vern. Merry Christmas.
One of my favorite all-time. One of my favorite all-time
laughing
guys.
about it, just thinking about it.
You know what I mean, Vern? One of my favorite characters, but I can't. Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Saves Christmas, blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on and on. There's so many good movies. My favorite memory ever. Do you guys have you guys must have drive-in movies in the States, right? Like where you go drive in your car.
Yeah, in 1978. Yeah, absolutely.
The only time I went to a drive-in movie, it was the weirdest double feature I've ever seen. It was Ernest Goes to Camp and then Friday the 13th 3. So it was
Oh my God, that's getting all different pieces.
I was about 9 years old at the time. So yeah, the first Ernest was great. And then I loved Jason, but my sister, who was like 7, fully disturbed for the rest of her life over it. But I digress. Ernest Saves Christmas. Guess what happens? There's trouble. And then Ernest helps Santa save Christmas.
I'm not against this. I'm not against this pick, but I gotta say, like, that's not even my favorite Ernest movie, though. Like, Ernest Scared Stupid is the way to go.
I couldn't put Ernest Goes to Camp on the Christmas list. It wouldn't fit.
I feel you. All I'm saying is it's not even my favorite Ernest movie. So I mean, I don't know. I'm a fan. I'm going with Scared Stupid if I had to pick an Ernest movie that I liked.
I'm going to agree.
Do top 5 Ernest movies.
I'm going to agree with you. There.
Okay. I'm pulling out an old school. This is an old school because I really growing up, like, I always watched all those like stop motion Christmas films. Like, I love them. My favorite one, or one of my top favorite ones, I like them all. The Year Without a Santa Claus, 1974 it came out, and this one is the one with like the heat miser and the snow miser. You know, like, I'm Mr. Heat Miser. Like, I freaking love it. It is the way to go. It is one of my favorite Christmas movies. I have already watched it this year. Year Without a Santa Claus. I'm going Heat Miser on this one. And because that's the thing. I love all these like auxiliary characters. And the Heat Miser and the Snow Miser are great auxiliary characters.
I will go with another classic. I tried not to just pick.
That's the thing. All of these ones are good. They're all good. It's gonna be tough to.
Yeah, there's no bummers on either list in this case. I don't have any. There's no Mariah Careys. There's no Nintendos. There's no super contentious picks. I think we both.
That's the thing. They're all Nintendos.
I think exactly. The team of Connor McDavids. Frosty the Snowman. I mean, Frosty the Snowman.
You're talking about like the cartoon one,
yes,
right?
the original,
I hope so.
The original cartoon one with all the original versions of all the songs we know. Well, I mean, Frosty the Snowman is the song we know, and it's the version from that show that we love. Everybody knows the story. Everybody knows the movie. Everybody knows the song. I didn't go all nostalgia on all these, but that one I kind of got to throw in there. Who am I kidding? It could be number 1, for fuck's sakes. Legitimately classic. I don't think you're going to argue with me. Frosty's.
It's a solid pick.
So there you go. Frosty the Snowman.
I will say there hasn't been like, a ton of good Frosty movies. You know what I mean? That one with Michael Keaton. What was that one? That was awful. Awful, horrible movie.
It's a tough remake. It's a really tough remake.
Where he like dies and turns into a friggin' snowman. That sounds horrible. That sounds like a nightmare. Then the man reconnects with his son. Michael Keaton, you were Batman, dude. You were Batman.
What do you got for your number 4?
I'm going a funny one on this one. I'm going Bad Santa. Billy Bob Thornton, Bernie Mac. It's just a hilarious movie. I like Billy Bob Thornton. I know some people my mom doesn't like Billy Bob Thornton. However, I do. and I like that movie. Bad Santa is a fantastic movie. It is, on my list of watches for Christmas time. That's for sure. I would watch this movie all year round, to be honest with you. But I'm putting it on my Christmas list. Number 4, Bad Santa.
I'm into it. And you know what? I would also like to throw in as a side note, I think Bernie Mac is one of the...
I love Bernie Mac.
I know. Low key, he's one of the greatest of all time, actually. In Canada, at least, he's not ever considered when people talk about amazing all-time comedians, but he is so good. I really like Bernie Mac. I've brought this movie up on several other shows, but number 3 for me is Elf.
I can't argue against it. It's a good movie.
In my world here, I get shit on for liking Elf and considering it a classic all the time. And then when I went into Discord and talking to you, it sounds like everybody else loves Elf too. So what I've come to think is that I think I have shitty friends, is what I've come to think. And that's the lesson that Elf has taught me.
I think there's no problem with Elf. I do. I like that movie too. And in all honesty, it's so hard to come out with a movie like that and it actually work.
Yeah.
Like, to create a Christmas classic that is so hard to do. So I got no problem with Elf.
Well, and to do it and not be overly weird, not be overly... I mean, it's super cheesy. It's like very classic cheesy feeling.
But that's what it's supposed to be.
It's 100% beginning of the career Will Ferrell is what it is. It's like it's his talent, but before he was a massive star and you'd expect it, it was just like he really put that shit together. And that girl who sang in it, that was nice. Love the movie. Classic.
Zooey Deschanel. All right, so at number 3, I have the Santa Claus and all of the accoutrements that come with it. Obviously, my number 1 for out of the whole like series is the Santa Claus, like the first episode, or the first movie with Bernard and Charlie and Tim Allen just being the man. But in all honesty, I like all of them. I'm down for the Santa Claus 2. I'm down for the one where he gets a wife. I've been watching the Santa Clauses on friggin' on like Paramount or whatever the hell it is. I'd picked my sister up from a surgery. I watched a couple of those with her the other night. Yeah. Kumar's a dick, by the way. So I mean, dude, I like all of them. I like all of them. I like Tim Allen. I like the Santa Claus. This had to be in my top 5. I didn't know where to put it in my top 5. It fell at number 3.
I like it. I like your spot. I like it. I like the series. I like Tim Allen. I really like Tim Allen. I like Kumar. I liked him on House. I liked him on Harold and Kumar. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, he's a dick in this show.
Yeah, well, he's an actor. He's acting like a dick.
I get it. But that doesn't mean he's screwing over Santa. I don't like that.
I'm just going to make a note to the people who are listening, because it's a podcast. I've switched from gin to Fat Tug IPAs.
It's probably for the best. All right, who you got at number 2?
I think you might agree this is a potential number 1 pick.
It's what I thought you were gonna have at number 1. It's what I thought you were gonna have at number 1. I don't know how it can be your favorite character and not be your number 1 movie.
Well, because, and you'll have to see when we get to number 1, but the Grinch, the original Grinch, is my number 2 movie. Animation. We included animations. We included claymation, stop motion, all that stuff. So the original Grinch, obviously, great songs. It came up in our songs. It came up in characters. It's coming up in movies. As you mentioned, the Jim Carrey version is also fantastic.
It's a solid backup. The latest cartoon version, it's all right. But I mean, it's definitely number 3 in the rankings of Grinches. That's for sure.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, to make a live action human being version of the Grinch, it had to be Jim Carrey. The Mask,
he was awesome,
etc. Fantastic. So, yep, the Grinch. I'm going with the original, but yes, definite shout out to the Jim Carrey version as a sub vote.
All right, so for my number 2, and like I said, we're getting down to nitty gritty here. So I gotta throw out bangers. I'm a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and like the 1964 version, super old school. Like you got Hermie and shit. 100%. I do not miss this movie. Every year I do not miss this. You already know how I feel about Yukon Cornelius. He is one of my favorite all-time Christmas characters in general. He is in this movie. Dude, Bumbles bounce. Facts.
Yep, 100%.
Saves Christmas. He saves Christmas. There would be no Christmas if it weren't for Rudolph.
That's for sure. And we all do know that Yukon Cornelius is the number one Christmas character of all time. I'm 100% on board.
I didn't know that everybody else, I didn't know that other people had an affinity for Yukon Cornelius like I do. So I'm happy. I'm happy that, other people feel that way, because he is a top tier, kind of background character.
Exactly. No, I like him a lot. Cannot dispute. Like we said, it can't really dispute any of these picks. My number one. My number one.
Woo!
My number one.
Wait, all this time, it's we're getting there. We are here. We have arrived. Mm-hmm. What do you got at number one, Raj?
My Game 7. Number one. I'm chewing a mouthful of Asiago cheese right now. I'm not going to lie.
It seems like a horrible cheese to just pick as an entire mouthful of cheese.
Oh, it's so good. It stinks. It goes well with my fat tub, which also smells like socks.
Which goes well with your number one.
Trailer Park Boys Christmas. Definitely my favorite. I had to check the rule book with you. You allowed.
I let it
you,
slide.
You
it's
allowed it.
But I let it slide.
It's a 45-minute TV movie, TV special, DVD release special. Cut in the quote here.
Sorry to interrupt, but I just had one of those brain learning things pop in my head that wasn't there a second ago, and it's about time to think of me around that. Basically, what is Christmas? I just got out of jail, which was awesome. In jail we don't have presents and lights and trees. We just get stoned and drunk. And it's the best time. I get out here and I'm all stressed out. My girlfriend breaks up with me. And that's not what Christmas should be. It should be getting drunk and stoned with your friends and family, people that you love. Who here is drunk right now? How many people here are drunk besides Julian? That is so awesome. And dope. God doesn't give a shit if you smoke dope. You're in church so you can't lie. How many people here are stoned right now? Come on, how many people here are stoned right now? That's what I thought. That's Christmas. None of this presents and lights and stress and shit. Just getting drunk and stoned with your friends, family, people that you love.
That's Christmas to me. That's Ricky. Ricky Bubbles, Julian.
See, I allowed it because you said it was your favorite. If it's your favorite, I want you to be able to put your favorite down. Not my number one, but I like Trailer Park Boys. They're all right. I gotta do it. I feel like a lot of people are gonna see this one coming, and you're not wrong. Usually, usually the most obvious answer is the correct answer. Christmas Vacation. It's Christmas Vacation. Christmas Vacation. And even just literally, just like the opening part of that movie is a part of the nostalgia too. Like the little cartoon opening where Santa is getting electrocuted and stuff like that. Oh my God, that's all part of the nostalgia of Christmas Vacation. I love me some Christmas Vacation. I legit I love that movie. And I know that this has been actually a divisive thing that, I thought, that Christmas Vacation would be more widely loved, and it seems that it's not. But I gotta stick to my guns. That's the thing. I gotta stick to my guns. This is legit my personal favorite Christmas movie.
I know you have Randy Quaid in your heart, and I can understand that.
Who doesn't? You have an empty heart if you don't have Randy Quaid in your heart.
That's true. You've got a Randy Quaid size hole in your heart. And
it's a big hole.
It's a humongous hole. I think your number one pick is fucking fantastic. I can't agree with it. I can't disagree with it. I mean, I also can't agree with it because it's not mine. But
Raj, I'm not going to lie to you, Raj. This has been so much fun. I know it's been so off topic from what we actually do. You know what I mean? It's not fantasy hockey. It has literally nothing to do with what our podcast is about. But at the same time, our podcast is also about, letting you in on who we are. Every day, a little bit at a time, you find out who we are, because I will fight vigorously for some of these things. You're not going to take these away from me. But at the end of the day, your favorite Christmas thing, can be different than mine, and it's all good. I want you to vote for us here. I want you to vote for either myself or Rog on who you think has the best top 5 movies. Rog went with Ernest Saves Christmas, Frosty the Snowman, Elf, The Grinch, the original Grinch, and then Trailer Park Boys Christmas. I went with Year Without a Santa Claus, one of the old school stop motion Johns, Bad Santa, The Santa Claus, Tim Allen, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and then Christmas Vacation. Those are my top 5. So whoever you think has the best top 5, that's going to decide the King of Christmas. Whoever wins this episode wins the entire month. It's been a long month, and I've worked hard on this. Man, Raj, someone's going to have to be the prince. I don't want to be the prince of Christmas. I want to be the king.
It's been vicious. It's been up and down. It's tested our friendship.
Just like Christmas in general, it has filled me with both holiday cheer and anger. Guys, make sure you vote for us on Discord. Get into the Xmas channel. Raj, if it's you, good job. If it's me, I will be happy to wear that crown because I love me some Christmas. Also, you can vote at FHF Hockey on Twitter. Use the hashtag FHFH Xmas. Raj, you got anything, bro?
Well, have a Merry Christmas, everybody. I don't know. If I have to lose the King of Christmas to anybody, I'm glad it's you. Cheers. If you're gonna whip what? If you're gonna whip out
that Empress is.
If you're gonna whip out Yukon Cornelius, you deserve to be a contender. Can't wait to see what people think.
I'm glad that you liked it.
Yeah, man. It was a good time. TJ, love you, buddy. We'll see you all before the new year, I'm sure. But it's
yeah, of course. I mean, we'll be back. We'll be back next week. But yeah, other than that, I mean, Merry Christmas, everybody. Fröhliche Weihnachten, anywhere you want to take it. Other than that, Raj, love you. TJ, love you. Everybody else, love you.
Love you.
Adios, turd nuggets.